Oh, Jamar Chase with the dive. Because Garrett Wilson's wide open. Garrett Wilson, touchdown Barrett. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the video here in the Water Juice channel, and welcome back to another episode of Madden What If. That is right, we are back, and this is Season 1, Episode number 6 of the series. Hope you guys are enjoying the What If series. I figure that this series is probably going to run maybe 10 episodes in Season 1, and then when Madden 24 rolls around, towards the end of it, we'll probably bring it back for Season 2 if you guys are enjoying it. I hope you are. I think you guys are. So without further ado, it is time to get into what we're doing today in Season 1, Episode 6 of Madden What If. And that is, you already know from the title and the thumbnail, obviously, but we are going to find out what if the 2007 New England Patriots completed their destiny and went undefeated and won the Super Bowl. Now, obviously, we know what happened. I don't even like to get into it really that much. The Giants beat the Patriots in that Super Bowl, ending their perfect season. David Tyree is on my top 5 most hated NFL player list because of that moment. I still to this day believe that he had gum or some sort of sticky substance on his helmet. There's no way that he physically could have pinned that football onto his helmet and held onto it without anybody knocking it away. There was some sort of sticky substance or something going on. There was some sort of foul play. I will die on that hill. So we all know the situation that went down that caused this perfect season to go away. Now, if you're not familiar, the only perfect season in NFL history was achieved back in 1972 by the Miami Dolphins. They are the only team to have ever gone perfect and win a championship. Teams have gotten close, like our New England Patriots for 2007, but no team has been able to do it since. Well, in today's What If episode, we are going to be changing that because I have given the Patriots the perfect season. We will simulate all the way through the first year. I have rigged the schedule to be perfect because obviously that's the whole goal of the episode is. And with Madden simulation, you're never going to get a perfect season, even with the greatest team of all time. So I've rigged the schedule for only for Season 1 to be perfect until we get to the playoffs. Then we're going to hopefully go to the Super Bowl and win that championship. And then we will go from there. So Season 1 of the 5-year simulation will be our perfect season. And then we can really get into it those next 4 years and see what would happen if the Patriots went on and won that Super Bowl. What's going to happen after that? I hope you guys enjoy it. As always, leave your comment suggestions down below for future What If topics you may want to see in a video later on down the line, whether it be towards the end of Season 1 or in Season 2 in Madden 24. Remember, keep the topics more towards the 2000s to 2010s to obviously more modern because it's easier to find rosters mainly, and then it's easier to just make those videos than it is to go for like the 90s or even further back. So there are plenty of what ifs for modern era, which would be like the 2000s to now. So if you have any suggestions for future topics you may want to see in a future episode of What If, leave them down below in the comments. And as always, leave a like, subscribe, join the Juice Club, and let's get into Madden What If Season 1, Episode 6. What if the New England Patriots completed the perfect season? So here we are. We have time traveled all the way back to the 2007 season, and we are in New England, in Foxborough. Bill Belichick, he's about 15 years younger. We've got Tom Brady in his prime. Chef's kiss. Love it so much. We've got Corey Dillon, Kevin Falk. We've got Deion Branch, We've got Givens. We've got Matt Light. We've got all the boys. Logan Mankins is here. This team is one of my favorite teams of all time because this is right around the time when I was getting into football and I was getting into the New England Patriots becoming my favorite team. This is right around the time. So all these boys, Vince Wilfork, Asante Samuel, Richard Seymour, Mike Vrabel, Teddy Bruschi, Willie McGinnis, Tully Banta Kane, Rodney Harrison, Matt Chatham, Larry Izzo, all these guys are my boys. This is around the team that I was coming up with. So these boys are special to me. So I'm hoping that we can make them win more than one championship. I really, really want to. And since we are into the flashback time period, we are into 2007 time period, everybody around the league has been shipped up too. They've been changed, they've been moved, we've got the rosters. You guys know the drill. So, like I said in the intro, the regular season has been rigged for season 1 so that we will win every single game, we will be perfect, and then when we go to the playoffs, we will go to the Super Bowl. I will rig that as well so that season 1 can be completing the perfect season, because we're never going to get a perfect season organically in Madden. It's never going to happen. So we might as well just get that out of the way, because that's the concept of the video. What if they won the championship? So we're going to do that. Patriots will win the Super Bowl this year, but then the next 4 years, that's up for grabs, whatever it is. If we win another championship, awesome. That's awesome. But if we don't win another championship, then that's just how it goes. So I will see you guys at the end of the season, including up until the Super Bowl, so that I can rig it all. And then I will see you guys at the Super Bowl with the Patriots involved. Okay, we've made it to the Super Bowl week. We are obviously 17-0, undefeated. The perfect season is about to commence, and unfortunately we didn't get to play the Giants in this Super Bowl. We are playing the Falcons though, which is funny because we all know the 28-3 Super Bowl with the Falcons, but that won't happen for a few more years, obviously. Let's take a look at these stats and see how good the undefeated Patriots did in year number 1. 4,300 yards and 37 touchdowns for Mr. TB12. You love to see it. 8 interceptions as well. Very good season from Brady. 1,400 yards and 21 touchdowns for Corey Dillon. No surprise there. He's a stud. 753 yards and 10 touchdowns for Kevin Folk. Also a good season as a backup running back, excuse me. Deion Branch, 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. Daniel Graham, the tight end, second in receiving yards. Brady does love his tight ends. Now, this is obviously pre-Gronk, but still. 11 touchdowns for him. Troy Brown, 875 yards, 4 touchdowns. David Givens had 872 and 9. Then we go to the defensive side of things. We got Teddy Bruschi, my main man, Teddy. 101 tackles, 2.5 sacks, 3 interceptions. Willie McGinnis, 85 tackles, 16 for loss, and 16.5 sacks. That's crazy numbers from back in the day. 84 tackles for Samuel, 82 for Rodney Harrison, 77 for Vrabel. The tackle for loss leader was McGinnis. Will Fork had 15, Seymour had 13. And then we got 21 from Ty Warren. Whoa, baby. I thought 16.5 was going to be the most. Ty Warren had 21, Seymour had 12, 10 for Will Fork, 3 for Vrabel, 2.5 for Bruschi and Sanders. Interception leader, Randall Gay. Oh my God, 6 interceptions for him. Bruschi had 3, 2 for Harrison and Wilson, 1 for a couple other guys as well. Let's go win the Super Bowl and complete the perfect season. The first one since 1972. The New England Patriots have done it, 31-16. And you know the funny part is, I simulated all the way up to the Super Bowl without even rigging the actual playoffs. So we just walked through the divisional in the AFC title game without even me changing things. So maybe if I wouldn't have changed it, we would have won against the Falcons too. But you can't be too certain. So check one off. We have done the perfect season. What if is now going to begin here with the next 4 seasons. So Super Bowl MVP is Willie McGinnis. It probably would have been Tom Brady, but whatever. Donovan McNabb wins the MVP of the league. Bill Belichick is the coach of the year because he had the perfect season. No surprises there. Torrey Holt and Dwight Freeney are offensive defense players of the year. Kyle Orton wins Rookie of the Year, and Sean Merriman, lights out, wins the defensive Rookie of the Year. So those are your award winners. Now we move to the off season. I have no idea what this is going to entail. I have no idea whose contracts are up, who needs to be re-signed, who's going to be in free agency. I know what the draft is going to look like because it's the 2008 draft, but I have no idea what is going to happen from here on out. So let's take a look at retirements first. Is there anybody big? Pat Williams, Joe Horn, Junior Seau, Tom Brady. That's the kicker, Tom Brady. Marshall Faulk, Larry Izzo, Willie McGinnis, Troy Brown, Tyrone Poole. Oh, we lose some big names. Willie McGinnis and Larry Izzo. So Warren Sapp I saw too. So we need to work on the defense, but who is ready to negotiate? We have a lot of money. Dan Coppen, some big names. Not really. There's some Bam Childress. I love Bam Childress. There are some decent names in here. We're obviously going to sign Dan back because he's our starting center, and I want him back. He will be hopefully back for the rest of the rebuild if he accepts this contract, and he is. So he's back for the rest of the video. David Givens at 86 overall, at 26 years old. I think that I want to bring him back, and he wants to be here too. So we'll give him a decent offer, and he's coming back as well. Beautiful. Tom Ashworth, definitely want to bring him back because he is 87 overall and only 27 years old. So definitely want to bring him back. He's coming back. Eugene Wilson does not want to be here, but maybe if we entice him with a little bit of cheddar, he would want to come back. You never really know. We'll offer him $8 million salary, and we'll offer him about $6 million bonus, and we'll see what he says. He's happy to come back, so we get Eugene Wilson back. Tim Dwight, I think we can let walk at 30 years old. Christian can let walk. Tully Bantakane, I would bring Tully back, but at $22 million, that's pretty expensive. I want to bring back Bam Childress because I like Bam Childress. I like Bam. So we're going to bring him back, or at least offer him. He does come back. So Bam is back. I'll offer Tully. Whatever, man. I like Tully. We'll see what he says. He's coming back. So Tully's back. We still have $30 million. We're going to let the rest of those guys walk. It doesn't matter too much. And we're going to head to free agency with $30.5 million to spend, coming off of an undefeated, perfect season. What can we do to improve this team? Who needs to be improved? I don't know. Peyton Manning is a free agent. All right, very interesting there. I had no control of this roster, so if you see, obviously, no development traits except for the Patriots, I didn't make the roster, so I didn't choose who gets development traits and who doesn't. And I wasn't about to go around the entire league and give everybody development traits who I feel like needed them. Some people have development traits, some people don't. It's not my problem. But let's take a look with about $31 million. What do we need to do? Our offensive line is already pretty good. LaCharles Bentley at 26 years old. My God, that would be awesome. We did just bring back Dan, but we can move LaCharles to guard. I gotta go out. I can't just have a 26-year-old 85 overall center on the table and have the money to bring him in and not offer him a contract. We have to. It wouldn't be right to not offer LaCharles Bentley a contract. So we are at the top. If he accepts, he accepts. There's not much more I could do. I could offer him more money, but I don't want to. D tackles, a 25-year-old Ian Scott would be an interesting little pickup. He wants to be here too, so we'll give him that money. See what he says to that. We're battling with the Giants. Jared Allen. Ooh, maybe we spend the rest of our money on Jared Allen. I don't know. We got to be careful, though. We have some money to spend, and there's some pretty good corners available. Dre Bly, 90 overall at 27. That would be all of our money. We wouldn't be able to offer Jared Allen a contract. This would be all of our money. But getting an extra corner certainly would not be a bad thing. So I think we'll offer Dre Bly this contract. Actually, no, we won't, because he's not going to accept our contract. Now, we could go after, like, Phillip Buchanan or something like that, who might actually be the better of the two guys because he's a little faster. So if we offer him this, that might be better than what the... Okay, certainly we're going to get Phillip Buchanan. So we can't offer Dre Bly, but that's okay. We just weren't going to be able to pay that money. But we are targeting a few pretty big targets. Let's hit the evaluation thing. And we got both of them. Ian Scott and Phillip Buchanan are here, so that is another good corner and another good D tackle to go on this defense. Now, LaCharles Bentley, do we just ride out and see if he accepts, or do we try to give him a new contract? Because we got the Bears, the Eagles, and the Chiefs all tied with us. You know what? Let's withdraw the offer and give him a little bit better. Just a little bit of a better contract. There he is. I know we can give him more, so let's bump this money up to about $7 million there, and then he'll definitely like the signing bonus, so we'll give him about $7 million signing bonus. That still leaves us with a good amount of money. So we'll see what that puts us at. If we go back to our targeted, that puts us way ahead, so that's a lot better of a contract, and he accepts And we still have a little bit of money to spend. So that's a really good free agency. I like that. I like that free agency a lot. We helped out the defense with a couple of added pieces. And now we have an even better offensive line because you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to trade somebody to get another piece. We're going to move LaCharles Bentley to guard, and we're probably going to trade Neal. That'll be what we do. Then we can add somebody else. Galaxy brain. See, maybe we add another linebacker, or we go for another corner, or we go for another pass rusher. See, we got options now. We got absolute options. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move LaCharles Bentley to guard, and then we are going to trade the guard that we have. Moving to right guard, save changes, bada bing, bada boom, and now we trade Neal for another position. Because I just got all the tricks, baby. I'm a galaxy brain, I told you. Galaxy brain. Let's trade him. Steve Neal, and he's a little bit older. He's 31 years old, so let's see what the offers are asking for. Booger McFarland would be cool, and pair him with Vince Wilfork could be awesome. But there's not really a ton of amazing pieces for us. Maybe we could try to snag a draft pick out of this. The Bears need a left guard. He could be moved to right guard, I guess. Or he can be moved to left guard. The Broncos need a right guard, so do the Bills, but nobody's got really a great draft pick so far. There's got to be a team that needs a right guard or left guard and has a pretty decent pick. The Eagles have pick 18. Nobody that needs a guard has a top 10 pick. Are you kidding me? The Lions have the number 1 overall pick. Packers have 15. Maybe Packers are where we go at 15. Because obviously we're going to have the number 1 or the number 32 overall pick. So we're not going to have much. Oh, here we go. The Texans, they got 3 and 6. I'll try for 3. They don't want it. I'll try for 6. They're not going to accept this either. But at least it's a starting point to get them talking, get some conversations going. And then we go and we ask them, we're like, hey, you want a 4th round pick? Why not? They say no to that. Okay. What about if we just swap picks? I'll give you my 32nd overall pick. You don't want that. What about if I give you a 3rd? Trade declined. Okay. I could give you a 2nd next year, but that's probably as far as I'm willing to go. It's about as far as I'm willing to go. Okay, so maybe we stay away from the top 10 picks. We're probably not going to be able to get them. But if we go back to the Packers and ask for pick 15, they say no to that. Wow, okay. I didn't think they were going to say no to that. I think instead I'll just go and take Anthony McFarland. That's a better offer in the long run. Getting Booger McFarland, another D tackle on the offensive line. I know we just signed the other guy to a deal, but that's okay because we're going to change the scheme up a little bit here. And we're going to move from a 3-4 to a 4-3, I would guess. Change the scheme, even though it is an 88% fit. If we go to a offensive spread, actually vertical zone run. Ooh, that's a 96. The 4-6 defense is a 96, but so is the base 3-4. But that's what we're in already, isn't it? The 4-3 is only a 92% scheme fat. Let's go with the 4-6 defense and see how that adjusts things. If we go to the defensive side of things, okay, this is much better. This is much, much better. We get all of our good guys playing. I like the way that looks. I like that a lot. So let's go to the draft now, and we will see what we can do. We've got pick 32. This is the 2008 draft class. So you got like Matt Ryan and all those kind of guys. I'm not really too sure what we even need. Maybe just like some backups, I guess. And it works out because we're pick 32, so that's pretty much all we're going to get is backups. But maybe another receiver could be awesome because I know some of our receivers are getting a little bit older at this point, so maybe a receiver goes, or we could get another running back to replace like Corey Dillon, Kevin Falk, who are both kind of old. Maybe a tight end. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what's there for one. We'll have to see what is available at pick 32. But for the most part, we'll take a look. So the final mock draft has the Lions taking Chris Long. Who do they have us taking at pick 32? They have us taking Devin Thomas, receiver from USC. I'm not really too interested in taking Devin Thomas, USC receiver, but If he's there, maybe we talk about it. I don't know. Let's start drafting. We'll see who goes number 1. It is going to be Chris Long, Jake Long. Now, obviously, these colleges are not correct for some people. Again, I didn't make the draft class, so. Vernon Golson goes 3. Leotis McKelvin goes 4. Darren McFadden goes 5. Matt Ryan to the Texans. Okay. That's really where I wanted to go. So let's advance to our pick. Make our selection. Who is on the board at pick 32? Kenny Phillips, Sam Baker, Rashad Mendenhall. I talked about running backs. Brandon Flowers, Matt Forte. So let's take a look at the receivers. James Hardy, Eddie Royal. There's a couple interesting receivers available down the board a little bit. Fred Davis didn't go to Ohio State, but that's okay. He actually doesn't look too bad, but we could probably get him in the second round. He looks pretty good except for his strength, but he's round 2 to 3, so if we wanted to take him, we could. Matt Forte, Ray Rice, Jamal Charles. The running back room is pretty deep, so we don't have to worry about that. Quarterbacks, don't really need a quarterback. We got Brady. Strong safeties, Charles Godfrey. Charles Godfrey could be good. Corner, Brandon Flowers, Mike Jenkins. Outside linebackers. I realized I didn't pause it, so gonna have to make a decision here. Calais Campbell. I think we're gonna jump up and take Calais Campbell at pick 32. I know that it was projected to go 2 to 3, but I don't think he'd be there at pick 32 of the second round. So, gonna take Calais with our first pick in the first round, and then we will go to our next pick and probably take one of the running backs if they're available, or Fred Davis, I guess, at tight end. So let's take a look at running backs first. Jamal Charles, Steve Slayton, Kevin. Okay, so we'll take Jamal Charles probably. Fred Davis is gone, but Jermichael Finley's there. Let's take Jamal Charles. He could maybe be our running back of the future. He didn't go to Memphis. He went to Texas. But whatever. It is what it is. 96 speed, 98 acceleration, Jamal Charles. Hopefully the running back of the last couple of years of this episode or this video. And we will advance to the end of the draft. Let the CPU handle whatever they need to handle. And we will move on to season number 2. Now everything's up to chance. If we go undefeated and win in the Super Bowl, that'd be awesome, but it won't be because I did anything. It'll be everybody for themselves. Upgrade players. Who gets an upgrade point? Bilal gets an upgrade point. Okay, good for him. Good for him. So let's take a look at draft recaps, see what we got working here. We got 72 overall Calais Campbell, 71 overall Jamal Charles. They took Harry Douglas, 76 overall. So we got some positions of need. That's good. I'm happy about that. We also got Red Bryant, who I like. Let's take a look at the rest of the class, though. Who is the best player? It is Deshaun Jackson, pick 26, 82 overall. Not surprising. Chris Johnson, CJ 2K, 80 overall. Gerard Mayo, who the Patriots took in real life. He is a 78 overall, but he went way too high for our pick. So that's what the class looks like. That's what our roster looks like. I'm excited for season 2, baby. I'm excited for season 2. I think we can go back to back. This team is very good. This team is very, very good. I think that we can go back to back with the combination of what we did in free agency and with what we've done with the draft, getting some positions of need. And I mean, this team just looks really, really good. This team looks really, really good. I'm expecting Calais Campbell in a couple of seasons to be able to take over for Warren, and everybody else looks really, really good. I'm confident with the backups that we have. I think we can be very good. So I will see you guys at the playoffs of season number 2, and we'll find out if we can go back to back. We made it to the end of season 2, and funny thing is, we didn't make the playoffs. So I guess that we could, I told you, what did I tell you? This team is amazing, and the only way we could go undefeated and win a Super Bowl is if I rigged it. So this team in season 2 underperformed, 8-9, did not make the playoffs at all. Let's take a look at what happened, man. Let's see what happened. Why did we go down? 4,300 yards, 24 touchdowns for Tom Brady, so the touchdown number kind of dipped a little bit, but that's okay. Rushing yards, Corey Dillon had 1,400 yards, 18 touchdowns. Kevin Falk had 14 touchdowns as well. Deion Branch, another good season, 1,000 yards for him, 6 touchdowns. David Givens had 900 yards and 3 touchdowns. Defensively, we had a huge tackle season from Mike Vrabel and Teddy Bruschi. Very impressive there. 12 tackles for loss for Vrabel. We had sack leader Ty Warren with 10. McFarland had 9.5. Seymour had 9. Vrabel had 7. Will Fork had 6. Interception leader Asante Samuel had 4. 2 for Wilson, and a couple other guys had 1. So that's what happens, man. That's what happens. This team is amazing, and yet we don't make the playoffs because this game is bad at simulating. It's not very good. It is not a good game for simulating. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? I can't control it, man, unless I go and rig it, but I'm not going to rig it every year because what's the point in that? Why even do the simulation if I'm just going to rig it every year? Season 2's done. We've already got our championship, but that is not the point. The point is to see what happens after that in the 4 years after we win the Super Bowl. And it looks like after we had a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover. Everybody has a Super Bowl hangover. Come on. I mean, look at the Rams. The Rams had a huge Super Bowl hangover. It's Eagles and Colts this year in this year's Super Bowl. I'm expecting the Colts to win, but probably the Eagles. Yeah, I was going to say probably the Eagles because they've got Donovan McNabb, and he just goes crazy in these simulations. So McNabb wins by 1. Eagles are champions. They get theirs a little bit earlier than in real life. Matt Hasselbeck is the MVP of the league. Arthur Smith, Coach of the Year. Chad Johnson and Michael Strahan, Offensive and Defensive Players of the Year. Deshaun Jackson and Aqib Talib are your Rookies of the Year. So the Philadelphia Eagles are the champions, and Matt Hasselbeck is an MVP. That is something I didn't think I'd say. So we go into the Season 2 off-season, figuring out what we can do, seeing if we've got any money to spend. We've got some negotiations. We've got $55 million, $56 million. And we've got to bring back Adam Vinatieri because he's Adam Vinatieri, and I don't want him to go to the Indianapolis Colts, even though that's probably where a lot of you guys probably remember him from, even though I remember him from the Patriots winning a bunch of Super Bowls with us. We'll give him a good contract because he's a veteran, and I love him. I love Adam Vinatieri. He's coming back. We maybe overpaid for a kicker, but I don't frickin' care. I just don't frickin' care. So now let's offer Vince Wilfork a big fat contract for the big fat Vince Wilfork. Love you, Vince. Welcome back. Matt Light coming back. Matt Light, funny enough, actually went to the school that I went to when I was a kid. So Matt Light graduated from Greenville High School in Ohio. I went there as a elementary kid. Little fun connection. But let's give him a big contract because he's Matt Light and I like Matt Light. So let's do that. Accept it. Oh, that hurts. That hurts, Matt. That you would deny me the satisfaction of it, signing on the dotted line there. How dare you? I won't ever forget that. We're getting Daniel Graham back. That's perfect. We do have to bring back Vrabel for sure. Definitely want to bring back Vrabes. Get him back on a nice contract for 3 years. He says free agency's better in the long run. Everybody's just leaving me. Why does everybody want to leave me? I don't understand it. I'm giving them good contracts. We're going to have to let those guys do a little bit of a walkie walk. Not much I could do there, but we have $17 million and we have a chance to replace those guys. Have the chance to replace them. So let's go into the lineups and see what we need to do. So we need to get a new left tackle to replace Matt Light. We lost Corey Dillon to retirement. We need to get a new, looks like we lost somebody else to retirement. Troy Brown must have retired. So we need another receiver. We need another middle linebacker because Teddy Bruschi retired. And we lost Vrabel. So a lot of retirements for this team. That was the problem with this team. We had a lot of old guys, a lot of guys from the previous generation of championship teams where like they won 3 out of 4. That's the problem with this team. We got old real fast. Seymour's old, Samuel's old, Harrison's super old. This team's old, man. That's probably why we're not going to win many Super Bowls. But we need a left tackle, a running back for another year probably until Jamal Charles is ready, and then we need a middle linebacker and maybe some corners. Do we have the money to do that? Probably not, but we're going to find out who's in free agency. Sean Taylor. Julius Peppers. Okay, there is a lot of guys here, a lot of guys that I would like, but we don't have the money to offer them contracts. So let's just get our guys. Let's go to the left tackles. Levi Jones is really interested in coming here. He's an 88 overall, and I'm interested in bringing him in. So let's offer him a nice contract, a very generous offer, 3 years. Ask him to come here and play for us. And then we probably need to get a middle linebacker, and there's not really a ton that are available, except for this guy, who we can maybe snag on a cheap deal. We'll see what he says to that. And that's pretty much all of our budget. So let's go to the targeted screen. Move forward. We got Scott Shanley. That's our new middle linebacker. And we didn't get the left tackle. So it looks like that's what we're drafted in the draft this year. It looks like that's what we're going for in the draft this year, is a left tackle. Now, this is the 2009 NFL draft. I'd have to take a look at the draft and see if there's anybody in the left tackle spot, or I guess in the right tackle spot, that we can move over to left tackle. But we have to take a look and see if there's anybody available for us. Who's super good in this draft class that fits a position that we are looking for? Obviously, we don't want to just draft anybody that we don't need a position, or that doesn't fit the positions that we're looking for. Scouting the players, let's take a look. What do we got here? So we've got Beanie Wells. Left tackle spots, Michael Orr, Jason Smith, Will Beatty. Okay. There's some pretty good guys here. Pretty good left tackle. Sebastian Vollmer obviously comes to New England. There's some good options at the tackle spot, that is for sure. We got our pick. We got our pick of the litter. We have some choices to make. I don't know what draft pick we have even. Start drafting. We have pick number 12. Okay. Number 1 pick in the draft. The New York Jets pass up on Mark Sanchez and take Clay Matthews. That's probably the better pick. Robert Ayers goes 2 to the Lions. Beanie Wells goes 3 to the Texans. Jerry goes to the Jaguars. Mark Sanchez heads to the 49ers. Aaron Curry to the Commanders. Phillip Harris to the Cowboys. Sebastian Vollmer gets taken by the Texans. B.J. Raji goes to the Bills. Ziggy Hood to the Bucks. And Felix Wolf to the Panthers. Now we are up. Where do we go? We could take Matt Stafford, but we don't need to. We could take Jeremy Maclin, which would be a pretty good pickup. We could take Brian Arakpo, Malcolm Jenkins. There's some good options here. Percy Harvin, obviously. Michael Orr. Michael Crabtree. There's really good options on the table. There are some really good options. Is Percy Harvin as fast as he is in real life? He has only decent speed. Percy Harvin, really? Decent speed? We talking about the same person? I'm leaning either Eugene Monroe at right tackle or Brian Arakpo at left outside linebacker. I feel like having Arakpo would be the best option. You know what? I'm not going to second guess it. Brian Arakpo is our first pick in the draft. He's number 12. Welcome to New England. We skip to the second round. Let's take a look at who's on the board. Probably nobody that is worth noting. A lot of the good guys got taken early. No surprise there. Ray Malaluga and Phil Loadhold are available. We do still need a middle linebacker. James Laurinaitis. I love James Laurinaitis so much. Let's take Phil. Let's take Phil Loadholt. He can maybe move over and play left tackle. Only normal development, but I think he's going to have a pretty decent overall. Oh, is James Laurinaitis going to be on the board? I don't know. I kind of want to trade up to get him. Let's keep skipping around here. Paul Kruger, Hakeem Nicks. If we can get into the late... I hate my life. He goes to the team that drafted him originally. That sucks. Okay, so Laurinaitis goes... I was going to say if we get into the late second round, I might be able to trade for him a little easier, but he got frickin' taken by the Rams of all teams. Of course he did. Let's take... Is there any receivers available? Brandon Tate, Brian Hartline. I do like Brian Hartline. You know what? I'm going to take Brian Hartline just because I like him, and then we will move on to the next season. We'll simulate the rest of the draft and go from there. So that kind of sucks that we didn't get James Laurinaitis because we did need a middle linebacker. I probably should have traded up after Ray Malaluga got taken. But I just thought that if I could get into the third round, then it'd be a little bit easier to trade up, because trading for second round picks aren't impossible, obviously, but they're a little bit more valuable than a third round pick. So I was hoping that I might not have to spend as much, but that cost me. So Brian Arakpo ends up being a 77 overall, Loadholt's a 75, and Hartline's a 75, and the rest of the guys they drafted are in the 60s, so no big deal about that. The NFL draft as a whole has Malcolm Jenkins a 79, LaShawn McCoy 79, Clay Matthews 78. Julian Edelman got taken by the Rams as well. I probably should have taken Julian Edelman, although I think he got taken a little higher than I would have wanted him to get taken. Obviously, he went in the 7th round in real life because he's a former quarterback moving to receiver. You guys know the story. So this is what the team looks like headed into year number 3. Only 2 more seasons after this. We've got a guy here at left tackle that I don't really trust too much, but I think this team as a whole is good enough to get the job done, at least make the playoffs. We improved some positions that we had a little bit of a hole in. Although, I don't know. I thought we'd make the playoffs last year and we didn't, so we're probably not going to make them again this year, but I will see you guys at the end of year number 3. It looks like the old age is catching up to this New England Patriots team, and we may have made a deal with the devil to get that one championship and make the perfect season, the first perfect season since the 70s, because we finished 5-12 and were the worst team in the AFC East. So I think we made a deal with the devil that we are finally paying up now with our play in the later stages of this simulation. I don't think that this Patriots team really understood the severity of the deal they were making with when they decided to do it. We got the Super Bowl, we did it, we won it, but would this have happened? Would this have happened if we would have won that Super Bowl in real life? I don't know. We're finding out. 4,400 yards, 24 touchdowns, 13 picks for Tom Brady, 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns for Kevin Falk, 1,000 yards for Deion Branch, 2 touchdowns. Daniel Graham had 9,000 yards, 8 touchdowns. Defensively, we had 111 tackles from James Sanders, 101 from Shanley. Harrison had 93. Seymour had 84 with 23 tackles for loss. Is pretty crazy. 14 tackles for loss for Colvin and Will Fork. Sack leader is Seymour with 13, Colvin with 12, 4.5 for Will Fork. Interception leader is Sanders, Shanley, and Samuel with 2. So I told you, man, this team is old. This team is old. There's not much more I can do than what we are producing. I mean, we have a good team on paper. It's just we're not getting the job done in simulation. The deal with the devil, man, it is a dangerous game to play. You don't want to get caught. You do not want to get caught with what we've been caught with. And it's the Colts and the Falcons in the Super Bowl. So it's the Colts from year 2 and the Falcons from year 1 back here in the Super Bowl in year number 3. Look at that. And the Falcons beat the Colts to get a championship. Congratulations to them. But we head into a new decade. The 2010 NFL Draft is about to be upon us after we get into free agency. Michael Vick gets his championship. Matt Stafford wins Rookie of the Year on the offense. B.J. Raji won Defensive Rookie of the Year. And we go into free agency. We've got some money, but that doesn't mean that we're going to have that money when we go into actual free agency, because we could have some re-signing players that need to get brought back. I don't know. I have absolutely zero idea who needs to get brought back, but there could be some interesting players. Asante Samuel, Deion Branch, Richard Seymour, a lot of our older guys. A lot of our older guys need new contracts, and we're definitely going to bring them back. So Asante Samuel, he's not that old, but definitely want to try to bring him back, and he's coming back. Perfect. Deion Branch, definitely need him back, and he is coming back. Beautiful. Richard Seymour at 31 years old is going to be pretty expensive, and he says he wants to play for a new team next year. So Richard Seymour is probably out the door. That kind of stings a little bit. That kind of stings. Who else do we need to bring back? Kevin Falk's going to leave. We're going to have Jamal Charles be the running back for the next 2 seasons. I think I'm going to keep the money that we have here. And we're going to ride into right into the offseason, but I don't think this team is going to last very much longer. I think that these next 2 years are going to be pretty brutal. I don't think we are going to be impressing anybody with these next 2 years. We've got probably some pretty big holes to fill, but I don't really know where to go with it. I mean, we have $15 million. We probably need to bring a receiver in, that is for sure. Let's just go for like a Marty Booker, somebody that's a little bit cheaper, not having to go for too expensive of a contract, and we probably won't even get him. He probably won't come in, but it doesn't hurt to throw him an offer. Maybe he accepts, you never know. Oh, I don't think we can afford anybody else. That's the problem. Richard Seymour has nobody interested in him, and I'm not offering him this contract, that is for sure. But I'll throw him a nice little offer here if he doesn't have anybody that's interested. If we take down his salary or his bonus a lot, we should be able to get him back. I know he's not going to like that, but hey, if we're his only offer, maybe he'll accept it. I don't know. He is 31 years old. There's Jason Taylor. We only have about $1 million to spend. We don't really have that much money left. I didn't mean to back out there. But that's just what happens, man. That's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. We move on. Seymour's got some offers now, so we will withdraw that. And we didn't even get the dude that I wanted to bring in. So we're not going to bring in anybody in this free agency period. We're just going to go to the draft and kind of pray for the best. We are going to try to pray for the best these next 2 years. It's probably not going to go too well. It's probably not going to go too well. But hey, we did what we needed to do. We won that Super Bowl. That was the main goal, was to get that Super Bowl, and we did it. But this is what would happen, man. This is what if. This is the alternate timeline. Everybody gets old, and we crumble. We're paying our debt to the devil now. It's coming back to bite us. What do you want me to do? I can't control it. Let's start the draft. We're probably picking top 10. We're picking number 2 overall. We are picking number 2 overall. Who's going number 1? Eric Berry. We have the number 2 overall pick in this draft. We have the pick of the litter. We could take Ndamukong Suh. We could take Gerald McCoy. We could take Joe Hayden. We could take Trent Williams. There's a lot of really good options on the table here. A lot of really good options. Trent Williams or Ndamukong Suh is probably the move. And I think Trent Williams is going to be the better option. So taking Trent Williams at number 2 overall, maybe a dumb idea, but it's Trent Williams, and we definitely need a linebacker. So, or we definitely need an offensive lineman. So taking Trent Williams, I think, is going to end up being the best pick for us. Round 2, pick 2. Audric, Russell Okung. We probably could have gotten guys that are pretty decent, but there's Cam Chancellor. Then there's Rob Gronkowski. You know what? We gotta do it. I could take Cam Chancellor, but we gotta take Rob Gronkowski. Who are you kidding? It's the Patriots, baby. It's the Patriots. You gotta take Rob. Gotta take Big Gronk. And you know what? I think I'm gonna get a little crazy, and we're gonna trade up to get Cam Chancellor. So let's trade up with the Eagles here. He probably won't go for a couple extra picks, but I just want to make sure that we can get him. We're going to trade up, and we can give James Sanders away. Yeah, sure, take James Sanders, because we're not going to need him, because we're going to take Cam Chancellor with this pick. So that will be awesome. Make our selection, pick player, and give me some Cam Chancellor action, baby. Welcome to the Patriots. Wish they would have got him in real life, but whatever. Welcome to New England. We go to the 3rd round. And this will probably be the last pick that I make myself. If there's anybody available. There's a couple guys that look interesting. Nobody that looks amazing. Except for maybe Joe Booth, the right guard. Looks good enough. Let's take him. Only normal development. That's okay. 3rd round right guard. Kind of a 50-50 toss. We'll let the CPU handle the rest of the draft, but we got 3 huge players. We got the number 2 overall pick to get Trent Williams, so that's our left tackle spot figured out for the next two seasons to finish out this video. And we got Rob Gronkowski, which we had to, I mean, we had to get Rob Gronkowski. We couldn't have gone in that draft and not taken Rob Gronkowski. And then we traded back into the second round to get Cam Chancellor. Both Williams and Gronkowski are 84 overalls. Then Cam Chancellor's a 78. And the guy that we traded was an 81, so he's not too far off. Joe Booth ends up being a 72. Trevin Short is a 70, and the rest of the guys are in the 60s. So the rest of the NFL is Rob Gronkowski and Trent Williams are the 2 highest overall players in the class. We got both of them. Antonio Brown was there. We probably could have taken him, but that's okay. I kind of forgot he was in that draft class. But whatever. We move to the next year. Is this team going to make the playoffs? I have absolutely no idea, but it is year number 4. We're going to be simulating. The defense probably is not good enough, but we're going to find out, man. We are going to find out. Trent Williams, the offensive line looks a lot better now. Jamal Charles now starting at running back, and we're going to see what happens, man. We are going to see what happens. That defense is not that great, but I will see you guys at the end of year number 4, and it could be just as bad. The deal with the devil has definitely started here, and it is continuing, and I'm assuming it's going to go the final season, too. We finished 5-12, not good at all. We're not making the playoffs. We haven't made the playoffs any year since we won the Super Bowl the very first season. 4,200 yards, 20 touchdowns, 14 receptions for Tom Brady, 728 yards and 5 touchdowns for Jamal Charles. Now, maybe we do something if I give it 5 more years, because we have some really good players now, but I'm not going to do that. So 1,000 yards and 3 touchdowns for Deion Branch. We go to the defensive side of things. Shanley had 119 tackles. He ends up being a very good investment for us. He's a good player. 100 tackles for Randall Gay. 94 for Cam Chancellor in his rookie season's pretty crazy. Vince Wilfork had 18 tackles for loss. Tully Bantacane 17. 7 sacks for Brian Arakpo. 6.5 for Vince Wilfork. We had interception leader Asante Samuel. We had an okay season. We had an okay year. Nothing too crazy, nothing too out of the ordinary, but we've only got one more year left after this. We've only got year number 5. And if we can't win the Super Bowl next year, then the deal with the devil definitely came into effect. We asked the devil, can we win the Super Bowl, please? Can we go undefeated? He said, sure. But you're gonna pay for it the next 4 years, and we are. And the Falcons, I mean, their Super Bowl window has been open this entire video. They've been in the Super Bowl 3 times, and they've won it twice. Congratulations to Michael Vick and the Atlanta Falcons, because they are Super Bowl champions for the 2nd time in this video. And he wins the 2nd Super Bowl MVP, and he wins regular season MVP, and Antonio Brown wins Offensive Player of the Year, or Offensive Rookie of the Year. Maybe we should have drafted him if I would have paid attention. We could have had Mr. Antonio Brown on our team. Now, I hope that we don't have many people to re-sign here in the re-sign period. I'm hoping that not a lot of people need contract negotiations, because I am going to be upset. Logan Mankins, and that's about it. Okay, that's good. We can work with that. We can really, really work with that. Now, Logan Mankins doesn't want to be here, but since we don't really need to bring back anybody else, we can kind of overpay for Logan Mankins. I know it's probably stupid, but we don't really have any other options. So we can overpay for Logan Mankins, and he's coming back. So we have $6 million to offer somebody else, and that probably is Ellis Hobbs. And I know that he doesn't want to be here, but maybe we can persuade him to come. No, he's not. He's not going to come back. That's okay. We've got $6 million. We're not going to be able to do anything in free agency. We're just going to go to the draft. I'm not even going to take a look. Not even going to take a whiff at free agency, because I don't want to put it out there that, oh, there's these guys here, they're really good and we can't afford them, and then I'm gonna have to try to trade somebody away, and it's a whole thing. We don't need to get into it. We absolutely do not need to get into that, because that's just gonna make me be depressed. I don't want to be depressed. But we've got probably another top 10 pick, I would say, and it's a good draft class. It's the 2011 draft class. Von Miller, Cam Newton, all the boys. If we could maybe snag Von Miller, that'd be cool, but I don't think we're going to have a pick that is in the Von Miller range. We could take a look at like the mock draft and see kind of where Von Miller is projected to go. He's projected to go number 2, and we don't have the number 2 overall pick. We have the number 9 overall pick, which they have us taking Ryan Kerrigan, which would not be a bad idea. J.J. Watt's right ahead of us too. If I take a look at what we need, it's probably more on the defense than it is on the offense. But then again, we're only going 1 more year. These players aren't going to really affect us too much. So if we go on to the defense, Von Miller obviously would be awesome. J.J. Watt would be awesome, but I don't know if we're going to be able to get any of those guys. Maybe they fall in the draft. I guess we could trade up. Let's skip. Number 1 pick is J.J. Watt. He went higher than I thought. Cam Newton is number 2. Patrick Peterson's number 3. And Von Miller's number 4. So we don't get any of those guys. But we could get Aldon Smith. We know his problems in real life off the field. I think that's where I'm going to go. I think I'm going to go Aldon Smith. Obviously, Julio Jones is there, but we don't need... We need a defensive lineman, a pass rusher, more than we need a wide receiver. Now, wide receiver would be useful, but we needed him more than Julio Jones, and we could probably find a receiver later in the draft that would fit pretty good as well. Who's left on the table? So quarterbacks, Ryan Mallett, RIP to him. He just passed away recently. Receivers, Greg Little, Torrey Smith. See, there's a couple guys down here, Randall Cobb, Torrey Smith, guys like that we could grab. We don't need a tight end. And you know what? I just realized that we're in the 2nd round and we probably need to take one of these guys. I think I'm going to take Torrey Smith just because he's probably a little faster than Randall Cobb. Only normal development, but he's probably going to be a mid-70s to high 70 overall player. So he's probably going to be a decent one for us. 3rd round now. Shane Vereen is here. Stephen Ridley. Jarrell Casey. Ooh, okay. KJ Wright as well. JJ Poyer. Alan Bailey. I think I'm going to take Jarrell Casey. We'll take Jarrell Casey with the 3rd round pick, and we'll let the CPU handle the final draft. We will let the CPU handle the rest of year 4's draft. We will simulate year number 5, and then we will end the video here. I don't think that we are going to win a Super Bowl. That's just my kind of guess. I don't think it's our time. We had our time when we won the Super Bowl in the first season. Aldon Smith is an 81 overall. Torrey Smith is 74. Jarrell Casey's a 75. We took Tyrod Taylor. That's pretty fun. The top player in the class was Jason Kelce, 88 overall. Von Miller's an 86. A couple guys were 83s, 81s. Okay, so Jason Kelce, 5th round, 88 overall player out of the draft is crazy. But that's okay. Final season, year number 5. I'm excited to see how bad we can be. I hope you guys are too. I will see you guys at the end of year number 5. The end of year 5 is here, and it didn't happen again. We went 5-12. Maybe this is what would have happened if we won the Super Bowl in 2007 and then we went the next 4 years. Hey man, what can I say? What can I actually say? This is probably pretty realistic to what would have happened with this New England Patriots team, because that New England Patriots team was old. We had a lot of old guys on that team, a lot of older guys that were towards the end of their career, one last run. We saw what happened. They all retired, and we've gotten a lot of younger guys now on this team. I like the potential of this team. We've got a lot of good young players. Jamal Charles, Rob Gronkowski, obviously, Trent Williams. And then on the defensive side of things, we've got Cam Chancellor, we've got Calais Campbell, Aldon Smith, Vince Wilfork, he's not super young, Brian Arakpo, Jarrell Casey. Like, there's a lot of little building block pieces here that if we went a few more seasons, we probably would be back in the playoffs before you knew it. With a couple more really good drafts and maybe some good free agencies if we had the money, we probably would be right back there in the playoffs with a little bit more development, but we're not going to find out. Maybe there will be a part 2. There probably won't be a part 2. 5,000 yards for Brady, 36 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. I mean, that's a really good season from Brady. That's probably his best one since the first year. Jamal Charles, 900 yards, 11 touchdowns. Receiving, 3 1,000-yard receivers. Gronk didn't get there. He's not even in the top half. 1,500 yards and 15 touchdowns for Branch. 1,000 yards for Graham. 1,000 yards for Givens with 8 touchdowns. Harry Douglas had 600 yards. There's Gronk. Didn't really play much. He's the backup. Defensively, 111 tackles from Tully Benteke. Maybe it was a good idea to re-sign him. 99 tackles for Randall Gay, who, by the way, didn't play for Ohio State. Brian Arakpo had 93. Samuel had 80. 79 for Eugene Wilson. Tackle for loss leader was Vince Wilfork. 16 for Alden Smith. And 11 for Calais Campbell. 14.5 sacks for Vince Wilfork. Rookie season, Alden Smith was crazy. 11.5 sacks for him. Calais Campbell had 5. Interception leader Cam Chancellor 3. Bantacane had 2. So did Mike Miner, Randall Gay, Samuel, Buchanan, all those boys. So, like I say, like, give this team a couple of more seasons with a couple more good drafts and a little bit more development. Who knows? Who knows? But the deal with the devil came back to bite us, man. We won the Super Bowl in the first year, and then the next 4 years, we didn't do it. But that's what would happen if the New England Patriots won the Super Bowl in 2007, completed the perfect season, the first one since the 70s. Now we know what would happen, and I'm not too happy with it. I'm glad that we don't live in this timeline where the Patriots were this bad. They weren't amazing in those next years. I mean, they made the playoffs. They were a decent team, competitive in real life. But I'm glad we don't live in this timeline where they were the number 2 overall pick at one point. So that is going to do it for the video. Like always, if you have your suggestions for future what if topics you want to see me take down in Madden, leave them down below in the comments. I'd be happy to put them into a future what if season video. But that's going to do it for me. Thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching. I truly appreciate it. If you enjoyed, leave it a like, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.